Mairis Briedis retains his WBC World Cruiserweight title and advances to the semi-finals of the World Boxing Super Series with a 12-round unanimous decision win over Perez. Going into this fight, I was wondering to myself if Perez was actually going to get blown out. Now, I didn't make a prediction. I'm just telling you what was going on in my head. I was wondering if he was going to get blown out. Why? Because he hasn't fought prior to this fight anybody with a pulse for several years. The last time he fought somebody with a pulse was Alexander Povetkin, who knocked him out in the first round. Since then, he had a hiatus from the ring. He came back against a journeyman, blasted the guy out in the first round as well. So there was that element to it, and also the fact that there were rumors circulating, and I think these rumors are unfounded now, but there were rumors circulating that Perez was struggling at the weight. So in my head, I was thinking, is Briedis just going to blast him out? Is he going to walk through him? Because up to this point, I've been very impressed by Briedis. Very impressed. So the first round kicks off in the fight, and it was a very good first round. Both guys landed some nice shots. Perez was able to establish himself. Briedis came back with some nice counters. It was a good opener. It looked like being a very competitive fight. But unfortunately, that's as good as it got. From the second round on, this fight went downhill in a major way. And the main reason it went downhill was because of the constant, incessant, excessive holding of Mairis Briedis, which was so bad that he really, seriously, people, should have been deducted multiple points throughout the fight and maybe even disqualified because it was that excessive. So that was one of the reasons why the fight just went downhill. And the other reason was, of course, the referee for not being hard enough on Mairis Briedis for the incessant fouling. And the referee clearly, to me, was very biased in favor of Mairis Briedis. It was so ridiculous that Briedis actually kept putting his arm around the back of Perez's head whenever they got in close and pulling Perez towards him to prevent Perez from punching on the inside. And at one point he did that, and Perez's head slammed into Briedis's face. So Briedis literally caused the clash of heads, and Briedis ended up with a cut on his eye, and the referee deducted a point from Perez. I mean, just unbelievable. Unbelievable. No warning, no nothing like that, which he shouldn't have even got a warning anyway because it wasn't his fault. He got pulled in. And even after that, Briedis continued to do that throughout the fight. He was holding Perez in various different ways, but one of the ways he would put his arm around the back of Perez's head and pull him in. You know, no, I mean, Perez, the first thing that happens, Perez gets a point deducted. Unbelievable. And I can't for the life of me understand how some people defend this type of holding. There's a reason why excessive holding is illegal in boxing. And yes, people, be clear about this. Excessive holding is illegal. Why is it illegal? Because it prevents your opponent from punching, and therefore gives you an unfair advantage because you punch when you want to punch. And in Briedis' case, that was mainly at long range. As soon as the fight gets to mid or close range, Briedis is all over Perez like an octopus. And that's the range that Perez likes to operate in, mid and close range. So it was totally illegal what Mairis Briedis was doing, but he was permitted to get away with it by the referee for the entire fight. Very, very late on in the fight, when Briedis was well ahead on the cards by this point, the referee finally took off a point from Briedis, and it was incredible to see Briedis actually complain about having a point deducted. I mean, you just gotta laugh because it's so ridiculous. So he finally took a point, and there was actually a point after that where the referee said to him, "Look, no more holding. This is the last time I'm going to tell you." And I was thinking, okay, well, he's going to take another point then if this is the last time he's going to tell him. People, I'm not joking. Literally seconds later, Briedis was all over Perez again like an octopus, holding him. again and again and again in that very same round when the referee apparently gave him his final warning. There was no more warnings issued. Or certainly, sorry, no more points deducted. Absolutely shocking tactics by Mairis Briedis in his home country, in his hometown. Perez basically got jobbed here, people. He got jobbed. Briedis fouled his way to victory. Yeah, he did land nice counters here and there and whatever. But again, the excessive holding prevented Mike Perez from getting his punches off, which is why that kind of holding is illegal. It was the worst case of excessive holding I've ever seen since Klitschko fought Povetkin. It wasn't quite as bad as Klitschko Povetkin because as well as doing excessive clinching, Klitschko was also leaning down on the back of Povetkin's neck and his back to the point where Klitschko's feet were leaving the canvas. It was ridiculous. But other than that, this is the worst case of excessive holding I've seen. I've seen plenty of fighters get disqualified for that level of holding, and rightly so. Now, the referee was appalling and very biased. Ruined the fight, ruined Perez's chances of winning the fight. But to be fair, the judges seemed like they were actually decent. They seemed like they were scoring it fairly. Because yes, Briedis was landing the majority of clean shots. Again, at long range, he was completely preventing Perez from fighting at mid-range or close range by the fouling, the constant holding. So you had to give, if you're scoring the punches, you had to give Briedis the majority of the rounds. But if you look at the judges' scorecards, they weren't 118-110. I think the widest was 116-110. But the other scorecards, in fact, let me just check. The other scorecards were 114-112 and 115-111. So they were comfortable for Briedis, but nothing excessive. That to me suggests that the judging was probably fair. But the referee, man, absolutely horrific. Horrific. Incredibly biased. And Briedis really has gone down massively in my estimations after watching this fight. And this is a guy who I really rated highly. But that was such a shocking performance where he relied on fouling to get his victory. And maybe there was something that happened in that first round against Perez. Maybe Perez hit him with something and Briedis thought, you know what? I can't even let this guy get any shots off at close range or mid-range because he's too dangerous. He hit me hard there and that worried me. Maybe that's what it was with Briedis. You know, maybe it was that combined with the anxiety of fighting at home in a very big fight. I don't know. But he just stunk the place. Obviously, the crowd cheered because they're all pro Briedis and he's Latvia's first ever world champion, apparently. But for anybody watching who's a neutral like me, he stunk the place out. Horrible. Horrible performance. And I hope that in his semi-final against Usyk, there is a good referee, good officiating by the ref, because he's going to have to watch that fouling. If Usyk starts getting held, the referee needs to be on it. You know, he can't allow Briedis to do that kind of rubbish again. And in this Perez fight, it was so bad that honestly, people, if these guys were to have a rematch and they were to have a proper referee, a fair referee, an unbiased referee, I'd actually pick Mike Perez to beat Briedis based on what I saw in that fight. Because Briedis relied so heavily on clinching. It's like you take that clinching away, I'm telling you he's going to be vulnerable to Mike Perez. The first round showed me enough of that. And on top of that, Perez, he got buzzed maybe momentarily a couple times by Briedis, but Briedis' vaunted power, the power which I'd been touting, you know, I've been touting Briedis as a serious puncher with, you know, massive punching power, but he didn't really seem to trouble Perez that much. And he landed a lot of clean shots. I don't want to say a lot, but he landed a fair number of clean shots throughout the fight. And, you know, Perez maybe buzzed for a second or two, but nothing serious. So either Perez has got a very good chin at cruiserweight, or Briedis' power is not what I thought it was. So yeah, he's definitely gone down in my estimations. And we'll see what happens in the Usyk fight. Most people are making Usyk a big favorite. And like I say, I just hope. Yeah, and here's the thing with Usyk. Usyk is taller than Mike Perez, longer arms, and a better long-range boxer. So hopefully the clinching won't be as much of a factor, because Briedis was boxing long range with Perez. That's where he was doing most of his best work. As soon as he got mid-range and close range, he held. Whereas against Usyk is exceptional at long range. He's exceptional even up close, but at long range, he's exceptional. So he might not even have to get close to Briedis to be able to get shots off. He probably won't. So he'll probably be able to control things from a distance and it won't turn into a clinch fest. So yeah, that could be an advantage there for Usyk because of the fact he's better at long range than Perez. He doesn't need to get in close against Briedis. He's not going to give Briedis the opportunities to clinch him like that. So yeah, drop your comments in the comment section below. Let me know how you felt. And again, people who are defending Briedis' performance, it's not often I say things like this, but you just don't know anything about boxing if you think that that was acceptable. If you think that that didn't seriously hinder Perez's ability to win the fight, you don't know what you're looking at. There's a reason why excessive fouling is illegal, because it prevents your opponent from punching and gives you an unfair advantage. What if you take the holding away? Well, Perez is going to be able to get his shots off then, isn't he? And then what? How's Briedis going to combat that? It blows my mind when people defend this kind of crap. Unbelievable. You just don't know what you're looking at if you're defending this. Seriously. Anyway, drop your comments in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel. It's happening. I'm out.